Well, the impact that service learning has had on my students' learning, I think really has to do with the motivation that the students have. Because in a service learning project, typically you're contracting with an outside entity, perhaps a nonprofit organization or someone who needs the service part of service learning. And so when students recognize that the project that they're working on and the things that they are doing have meaning in the world, then their motivation is much higher, they care more.
That it kind of just puts them outside of themselves. We all have our own perspective, you know, how we grow up, experiences we've had, and I think it's this kind of our small frame of reference. So I think one of the things it's done for my students is give them a different way to look at the world. Specifically, we work with students, younger students, because my students will be teachers. And so it just gives them an idea that not everybody grows up the way I grew up. And I can't reenact that in the classroom, so service learning puts us in the community and allows us real life experiences.
Service learning means having objectives that you have for your class and being able to meet those objectives really at a higher level in a different sort of way outside the classroom in organizations or other places of business, and allowing students to fully engage outside the classroom.
I heard a quote one time, service learning is learning to serve and serving to learn. And I think that that probably hits home. I don't think I knew when I was a student what it was called, but we did it. We thought we were volunteering or whatever, but it was always tied to our curriculum in some way. But now I like that we can give it a name, and so my students know that this is part of how you're learning and being more prepared in your profession, but you're also serving and giving back to the community at the same time, so I feel like it's a win-win for both.
Well, one of my favorite service learning experiences was this last semester in my municipal management course, which I had a student do a project in Piedmont. And in Piedmont, they had a trails program. And in this trails program, he had to set up the city meetings, he had to set up planning for it, you know, some articulation and writing on it. And what's cool is it turned out to be a 20-hour-a-week job, and hopefully it'll turn into a full-time job in the future.
My favorite service learning experience was a student who had a lot of misconceptions about violence in the home in my communication and gender class. And for her service learning project, decided to volunteer and work at the YWCA. And through that experience, learned and understood violence in the home so much better and became very passionate about it afterward.
My favorite service learning experience is probably something that was done outside of classroom time, a project that we called Bronco Boom. And so again, I work with pre-service teachers, and so we started an after-school program with Britton Road Elementary, and low-income school that just had a lot of needs just for community involvement. And we were able to take students there and give them health and fitness lessons after school a few times a week. And I loved it because we got involved with a school that was unlike what most of my students grew up attending, but also that we got involved a little bit with the community. So the teachers, the staff, the faculty, but also the parents, we were able to do a health fair and just really get to know the community and kind of what is happening outside of the school building.
Well, I use service learning in my class because, you know, it's actually not quite an internship, but they do get their hands dirty. And why that's important is that it's the experience of what they do. You can only learn so much in a book by itself. You have to apply that, and that's part of that action piece of service learning. And hopefully they reflect on the job. And that's what's important, I think. So service learning is can be very powerful as a learning tool for students. And so I think that's what makes it so exciting.
Students want to do something that matters. They're going to learn, you know, what they have to learn, read a little bit here, take a quiz here. But when they really get into the community and know what they're doing is making a difference, especially when they're going to be future teachers and this is helping kids, I just see a different feel. So it matters to me because they're learning what I want them to learn anyway and what I think that's really important, but they're getting to do it kind of on their feet.
In my view, what we're here about here at UCO is we're helping people become qualitatively different as a result of their experiences here. We want their worlds to be bigger, not smaller. We want them to be exposed to more about what's going on in the world and right in front of them. And usually service learning involves some sort of a service to a nonprofit entity or to a cause. And so by having students get involved with that, it is just opening their world, opening their eyes, and what we hope is that they will become engaged citizens who will see that it's not all about making money, it's not all about me, it's about me being a productive member of a community and of a society, and I think service learning opens those doors to some extent.